22 Charlie, take 2.
I have always loved this genre, especially this level of horror.
Up with me, Mark.
I remember reading it and kind of feeling a different type of fear, something that was a little deeper, a little more unsettling.
It is only 90 pages. When you read it, it's void of real dialogue.
The script was very rich in terms of sound, texture, imagery, and that's like a blessing for a director.
I've known Alex for like 10 or 15 years. I've been a huge fan of his since I saw High Tension. I was thrilled to hear he responded to the script.
He's always been this incredible visual storyteller because he starts with very, very simple premises.
Never let go. Never let go.
He's such a visual filmmaker. Everything he's done is so visually well done. And so I felt like, oh, who better to kind of bring this world to life?
She goes around and then enter the shot next to her.
Alex is approaching to the human parts of every character. He goes much more deep into the relationships and he doesn't step away from it.
Alex built a world that's just full of contrast, is deeply unnerving in the best possible way.
It's really a movie about layers. Layers of story, layers of psychology, layers of relationship, and has a lot of like great, dark, scary fairy tale. As soon as I read the script, there were no other choice. We needed to find a house in the middle of that forest.
What that forest represents is not safety for them. It doesn't represent freedom. It looks like freedom, but you can go out, but you can only go this far.
Action!
Every time I look through, the kitchen window or the living room window or the dining room window, I want to see the forest. Because the forest is that scary element. The forest is that place where the evil lives and wait for them to come out. So today we are in the main location of the movie, which is the house where Mama, Nolan, and Samuel have spent most of their life. It's a house that has no electricity, there is no outlet, we are in the middle of nowhere. They survived there for like years and years, like a few decades. They made everything themselves.
What's impressed me most is how realistic it is. We have like a real pump in the kitchen that, services our well. We don't have electricity, so we make our own candles out of resin, and so it's lit by either fire or candlelight, like all those details that transport us to this family's reality.
The house is beautiful, it's amazing. It has everything that you would see in a normal house, except for electricity.
That transition in between daylights and nightlights would be the key, swapping it into much more contrasty, much more scary.
It was terrifying, beautiful, but beautifully terrifying because of what our characters are dealing with.
I remember thinking about, who could be Mama, who could be that stone in the middle of that structure, someone who can be protection of those boys and in the same time maybe the danger for those boys.
As we were finishing Alex's deal, we got a call that Halle wanted to do the movie. It's just an amazing call to get.
I loved the idea of having a family like this be seen in a way that a Black family has never been seen before. I loved the idea of being out in the wilderness, in the woods, in the middle of nowhere.
She's explored all different genres in her career, but she hasn't done horror, I think, in a pretty long time. And I think she was really looking to get deep in on the process.
She has this amazing knack for playing really kind of complicated, dark, and in some ways unlikable characters that have a great deal of humanity. So I couldn't imagine anybody playing the role more than her.
What? Nothing.
Mama is very complicated. She is a fierce mama bear in one sense, but she's also trying to hold on to her sanity at the same time. And because of that, she's forced to make decisions and do things that don't always feel very motherly, but they are what she needs to do to survive.
I think as a parent, it's something that we all feel, when we have like children, we start thinking about I don't want to expose my children to my darkness. I want them to protect them from that.
I'll put those in with the bar.
Yes.
She's a storyteller in front of and behind the camera. I think Halle was attracted to a lot of the things that we were, but also new things that we hadn't thought of, or maybe a few things that we weren't thinking of. She had a real authentic point of view on.
Growing up like this in the middle of nowhere for 10 years, these boys don't have the normal access to language. You don't talk normally, like you don't sit down at dinner and have family conversation about your day because you've gone nowhere but to the end of your rope. I really fought hard to have us have this sound to our language. It was very important as a black woman and as a black family that we sound authentic.
Frogs ain't loud last night. Spring's coming.
We'll be ready.
Right once we come on set, like she's using the southern accent and everything. Like it's like she's been using it for like her whole life.
We're doing the best we can. Eat.
And Percy, he's great at that too.
She's so nice and kind. She's always there for young actors like me and AJ to get better.
There's a deceptive amount of stunts, and Halle really did essentially all of her own.
Doing physical stuff, like that's my lane. You know, I love doing my own stunts. Those are the things that also got me excited about this movie. You know, I get to skin a squirrel. You know, like when would I get to do that?
I'm just gonna go show Halle what it is. This is Sunny Jim. It's a boa constrictor.
You know, it was such a joy to go to work every day and be in nature like that.
That is harder than it looks.
My favorite scary movies are the one that when you leave the theater, something stay with you. And this is the type of movie that I'm trying to make.